Hey everybody, and welcome to my garden. So we've been in quarantine about a month now, and right about when it started I planted some seeds and I left these to grow in my kitchen next to my kitchen sink, and now they're getting pretty big, so I want to plant them outside, and today I'm going to show you how to do that on Hollywood and Vines. A few of you guys have been experimenting and you've been planting stuff and you've been sharing with me your progress, which makes me so happy. You have no idea. I love to see this. It's like I almost didn't even realize how much other people would enjoy it. But it makes sense because it's great, right? And people have been asking questions about planting in raised beds. Now, if you watch Gardening for Beginners, my video, you saw how I combined potting soil with compost, and then I actually added some worm castings for extra credit. And that is exactly the same thing I do with my raised beds. The only difference is sheer volume. So, you know, you need to take measurements, you need to decide what size of raised bed you want to get. You can get raised beds already assembled, or you can get kits to make your own, and those are sold at all hardware stores. Most of your local nurseries will have them in a variety of different sizes and shapes. So once you've chosen what size you want and where you're going to put it, then you need to figure out how much soil and compost you need to fill it up. So what you need to do is, if it's been a while since you took math, which it's been a while for me, so I get it, it's fine. No judgments here. You multiply the 3 dimensions of the box to find the volume. So for instance, the height of the box from the floor to the top of it, the depth of it from where you're standing to the back of the box, and the width of it. So you multiply those things and you'll end up with a cubic number of feet. And good news, soil is sold by the cubic feet in bags. So just fill up your box with about 3 parts soil to about 1 part compost, and add like a small bag of worm castings in there, a handful, whatever. It's extra credit, just do what you want. I planted a lot of tomatoes because tomatoes are just one of the best things to grow in Southern California, and they're so much tastier grown in the garden than they are in the supermarket. So I have here Brandywine, Green Zebra, Black Vernissage, and I have Purple Russian, Red Cherry, and we don't need to know what that is. That was something that didn't sprout, so forget about it. No big deal, it happens. You can see here I have 6 tomato cages. That's about all the room I have for big mature tomato plants, and I'm hoping each one of these guys is going to grow up to fill one of these whole cages. You know, it might not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant one of these inside, and then I'm going to plant another one in a small 1-gallon pot, so that if something happens to this one by some chance, you know, things happen, I can substitute that one in. So let's get started. First things first, dig a hole. These are really tiny, so it's not so much digging as just kind of disturbing the soil a little bit right here. Now, if you watched my video, you saw my technique for transplanting tomatoes. I don't really need to massacre these ones the way that I did the other ones because they're so small, but I am going to submerge them in the soil a little bit deeper than the level they're growing at already, and that will help them to establish more quickly with stronger root systems. So I'm going to dig a hole that can get that down there a little bit. It's about that deep. Yeah, it looks about good. Okay, so we'll start with this one, why not? There's 2 of them in each of here. I actually planted 2 seeds, just another safeguard against bad germination. It happens. So I'm just gonna pick 2 that I think look really good. I mean, they all look good, they're just heavy, you know? Okay. This one's cool because you have 2 in here, but one's smaller, and this one might just take over, in which case I can pull that one out, but at least it's there just in case. Oh shoot, that's actually in the other side. Never mind. I'm gonna plant this one because it was the one I chose in the first place. Why not? So I'm just squeezing this gently at the bottom. Be really, really gentle with these guys. The key is to try to retain as much soil as possible. Well, I'm screwing it up. I really am. Okay. Well, you can see that the root system did not extend past here, so that's enough soil. All right, let's get it in the hole. Might have been a little too much for this. There we go. Put it down there. Fill her back in. I do have some compost, very mulchy compost in here that I'm gonna push away because compost can sometimes, if it's not mixed in with the soil, it can be what they call hot, which means that there's so many nutrients and they're so fresh and the decomposition is still ongoing that it can sometimes burn a little baby plant. So I'm just gonna push some of the compost away, and I'm gonna fill in what I need to fill in with just some potting soil that I have laying around. Okay. And they're kind of leaning over, but they will stand back up. So, okay, let's water it. Definitely also be gentle about how you're watering these little babies. Thing that you need to know about transplanting seeds that you've started indoors out into the garden, very important, they're not used to the sun yet. The sun is super bright, super harsh for these little guys, and they get sunburned, and that can actually kill them. So what I've done is I've stuck them out here without hardening them off first, and I'm going to substitute that process with some shade fabric that I'm going to install across here. So you have a few options when you're transplanting from indoors out. The other option is to take your tray like this that they were growing in, and you take this and you put it in the direct sunlight for maybe, you know, an hour longer than it normally got in your windowsill, and then you take it away from there. And the next day you put it out there and you leave it for 2 hours longer than it had normally been, and then you take it away. And then maybe you can bump it up to 3 and 4. And so over the course of about a week, this plant becomes used to the intense kind of light that it's going to encounter outside. Like I said, I didn't really want to wait for that. I was just itching to get these guys out here. So I need to protect them another way, and I'm going to install some shade fabric. So check it out. All right, this is shade fabric, and it comes by the yard from nurseries and hardware stores, and you can see it just blocks the full brutality of the sun from your little baby plants. So, but it's still breathable. Don't know if you got that. Water can get through it. You know, even like little bugs could get through it, but whatever. Not that we want that. Anyway, I'm just gonna kind of jimmy rig this because it's a temporary thing anyway. So I'm just gonna use these tomato cages to sort of support this. There we go. And I'm gonna grab that other piece and do the same over here. There. It doesn't look great, but it's only gonna be up for maybe a week or so. And just keep watching your plants, seeing how strong they look, seeing how healthy they look. You gotta pay attention to them to give them water anyway. And you might think, hey, you know, they could use a little more direct light, and then you can shift this down lower, or you can take it off for a couple hours and put it back on when you feel like, oh, that might be too much. Think about your plant like yourself. You can only spend so many hours on the beach without reapplying sunscreen. So if you kind of can get in the head of a plant, that's how they feel too. All right, guys, I think that might have been all for transplanting outdoors and protecting your plants from the sun. Just remember to be gentle with them, treat them like the little babies that they are, and enjoy yourself, guys. Let me know what your questions are, what you're dying to learn about, and I am super excited to address whatever kinds of things you're interested in. And as always, be sure to like this video, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thanks so much, guys. It's been really fun hanging out with you in my garden. Have a wonderful week. Mwah!